Tuesday, New Thought Tuesdays. Hey, Rich.
Hey, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
Tuesday morning.
Good afternoon here on the East Coast. Rich
Cup of
is in
tea.
LA, and today, coast to coast, and even off into the regions, we're talking about from pleading to knowing the power of New Thought prayer. New Thought prayer, a special kind of prayer, a specific kind of prayer, a fabulous kind of prayer. And that's what we're talking about today. That idea of shifting from that sense of, God, please, can you do this for me? Please, I don't know, to having a sense of trust in the truth, and then using the universe, engaging with the universe in a way that's really powerful. It's kind of our new thought. The old kind of praying was kind of like, as I was saying, that pleading for. Um, and now what we've been doing in New Thought for decades now is just this whole thing of what we call in science mind, we call a spiritual mind treatment, knowing the truth. And
Yeah.
we have steps that we use to do that make prayer just manifest and feel so great. So
Yeah.
and the whole new thought way of things, it's a way that feels in alignment with that sense of divine authority. So that's what we're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The prayer that we use is less of a petitioning prayer,
Yeah.
petitioning a God to do something for you, although that there's nothing wrong with that too. That's worked for me many times. You
Yeah.
know, it has, when I get really desperate, oh, please, God, do
Please,
this.
please.
And it does. It's going to respond to your prayers no matter how you pray. However, we believe that affirmative prayer is super powerful. Why is it powerful, Dean? What does it do?
Well, when you look at the energy of the universe, if you can just imagine the energy in your body, the energy around you, the energy in between the molecules and the atoms, that energy even within themselves, there's this energy that's going on everywhere. And so as we use the energy, as we engage, I like to use the word engage more than use, because sometimes use can sound manipulative. I think as we engage with that energy of the universe from a place of truth and trust and mindfulness, there's a flow that goes in. I mean, it's like you said. Hey, you want to pray? You want to pray a beseeching prayer, a petitioning prayer, even lest I say a begging prayer. Hey, go ahead and pray.
Yeah.
A prayer, something that identifies your higher power, which I call God. Anything. Hey, a prayer is great. We've just got an awareness of how we engage with the universe that makes prayer. Well, the very first thing about it, I went into the science of mind and really became trained and learned and used how to utilize this stuff. People always say to me, "Oh, I love your prayers," and
Yeah.
because there's a sense of relief that people feel when they are experiencing these prayers. And that relief opens up an energy that is more than psychology, more than your physical body. It's engaging your faith in a power even greater than yourself. So
Yeah.
that's what we talk about with New Thought prayer.
Yeah. I notice when I'm working with somebody, I'm praying with somebody, my daughter called me and a friend's grandmother was going into the hospital and was having surgery, wanted me to do, well, Dad, can you do one of those things that you do, where you say those different word, steps and stuff? It's like, yeah. Okay. And we did. And what I noticed is that it eased the tension for them, for her and her friend. They just felt good afterwards. They felt like, oh yeah, it's already done. Perfect right doctors are showing up, perfect surgery, perfect healing afterwards, perfect divine expression in the in her body temple, revealing itself as perfection, and then all of a sudden they start going, oh yeah, that felt really good. And when they shift their vibration, then everything around them will shift to match it.
That's what I found. I
Yeah.
found, and conversely, when I am saying like, okay, when I'm not experiencing as much trust and as truth as this human person might like to experience it, I feel that when I'm out of alignment and when I'm railing at the universe, I can feel how that resistance that I allow to come up in myself, that I believe is true, I can feel it being out of alignment with the universe, those people around me, and indeed with who I am authentically. So that contrast of when I'm feeling like I not like praying would be like a miracle for me to figure out how to pray. When I'm in a place of disconnect, I feel that contrast of being out of alignment. Now, I can't be out of alignment because I'm in the universe and the universe is all about alignment. But if I'm trying to push against it, as I'm trying to resist something, as I've
Yeah.
got a point of view, a judgment where no, 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 it's got to be this way, or something that I'm just out of sorts, I feel that difference. And when I go back to being aware of what I believe to be truth and what creates my faith in a power greater than I am, there is this sense of awareness that things begin to flow. And it is so much more. And I love psychology, don't get me wrong. It's so much more than the human feeling good. The human feeling good is really important because it relieves us of that resistance. And then we can be aware of what our true foundation is, what my true foundation is, and what the truth is. And that comes
Yeah.
through new thought prayer.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so let's talk about aspects of prayer and how it can
Okay,
affect
sure.
people. You know, one of the things that I've noticed is that see it as if it's already done.
Yeah.
At the end of my prayer treatments, I always say, "Act as if you have, so you may receive." So
Yes.
just now, start taking actions towards the thing that you would like to experience
Yeah.
affirmatively. It's like, yeah, it's already done. It's done in the mind of the infinite. I accept it. I receive it. I allow it. And then it just flows into your life, and it cannot not flow in and as and through you. I always said, you're good as knocking on your door, and you just have to open that door. And we open the door through our 5-step prayer process, affirmative prayer, new thought prayer, whatever you tend to call it.
But
Yeah,
there's it's so simple. It may not be easy, but it's so simple. Sometimes in the human condition, we can get so dedicated. I can get dedicated, and I can talk to you about clients that are dedicated to standing in the place of not alignment. I don't want to open that door. Why are you saying open that door? I've opened that door when indeed there's a sense of resistance in every aspect of who they or I am declaring to be. Prayer is not just a request. It's not a pleading. It's not a begging. It's not a beseeching. It's not a petitioning. It's a knowing, and it's a declaration of the truth.
yeah, you
As
said a mouthful. A knowing, okay, knowing what? And a declaration of truth. Well, what's truth? So
all
come
right,
on, Dean, fill us
fine,
in here.
fine. You're going to
You,
ask me hard
you hit
questions.
two big
Absolutely.
points that need explanation.
That knowing of truth, I have learned the truth through quiet contemplation. I've learned the truth as it is to me. my faith. I've become aware over my decades of study through people like you, Rich, like what we're doing with New Thought Tuesdays, like God bless Dr. Mark Vieira, Reverend Mark LaPonce, Kathleen Johnson, just really terrific people I learned great things from. And they've helped me to identify myself, what the truth is, what I believe to be true, and then put it into practice. So it's almost like I'm going into a science lab and like, oh, when I experience life, when I choose to let go of the resistance and go with that flow and that sense of relief, this is what unfolds in my experience. These are the demonstrations, the miracles, if you will, Rich,
Yeah.
that take place because I'm engaged in learning what I believe to be true, working it out in the world, and receiving the benefit of it while I give the benefit of it as well. So there's a lot of reading, there's a lot of study, there's meditation, there's prayer, there's conversation. My God, Rich, in the last three plus years that we've been doing New Thought Tuesdays, you and I have done so much spiritual practice through meditation and conversation about what is true. And so how do you know what is true? You are looking for what you believe to be true, and you use all the resources you can to make the case for it. So then you, so that's okay. Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
All right.
What you
Then
believe to be true,
yes,
you can believe something to be true,
yes.
but then there is the ultimate truth, the truth.
I'm talking spiritually. However, you can if you choose to believe that the world, the universe is an unfriendly place, you can
Yes.
create that in your experience. You're welcome to. It's not my hope for you. It's not my hope for myself. So, what you choose to believe, and I'm talking from a human psychological place to a spiritual faith based place, making that connection, getting clear about what it is that you want to believe, finding instances of where it is unfolding and how you can connect up with it. And that's how I have come to understand truth.
Yeah. For me,
Spiritual,
it's a little different.
I'll bet it is.
Yeah, because it's always different for it's going to be different for everybody. It's going to be different for you guys out there. It's going to be different from me and different from Dean. You know. But what I was thinking is when you were talking about that is truth. There's
Mhm.
what you can believe to be true, and then there's the truth. And I keep going back to the truth. One power, one presence, one life, perfect, whole, and complete, expressing itself in and as and through me right here, right now. Unlimited potential, unlimited resources, unlimited abundance, prosperity, perfect right livelihood, perfect relationships. Everything in the mind of the infinite is perfect, whole, and complete. That's my truth. And so when I go into prayer, it's like, okay, using my metaphor, filmmakers. A filmmaker doesn't beg for the film to be made. They see it already completed in their mind. They have to see it complete in their mind. If they don't, it's never going to happen. It's whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you vision, you create. Whatever you imagine, and we've been getting into imagination lately. If you can imagine it, you can create it. And imagining it is what brings it into fruition, brings it into reality. you know? And so, a filmmaker, when it's making a film, they've already seen it shot. So in the same way, prayer isn't asking for something to happen. It's about knowing that it's already existing and aligning with that reality. And my reality, like I say, is one power, one presence, one life. That life is perfect, whole, and complete. That life is my life now. Connected to infinite intelligence, connected to God, divine presence, working in and as and through me, looking at me, as Jesus said, you're looking at the Father. I think that divine presence is within each and every one of us. It is. We are it. I know this may sound like blasphemy for a lot of religious people, but you want to address that, Dean?
No, go
Is that
ahead.
blasphemy?
No.
Okay. Um, so for me, that's what the truth is. That's my truth. And because that's my truth, that's what I experience.
Mhm.
Now, my truth could be something different than that. It could be that uh, it's tough making films in the entertainment business, getting the money and funding. Oh my God, it's such a challenge. Then you're going to have that challenge. Whereas when I go into something, like when I was producing films and stuff, we would just affirm that it's already done in the mind of the infinite. We'll take action and act as if. And then it happened that way because you're acting as if it's already done in the mind of the infinite, which is it's perfect, all and complete. You know, I remember on a shoot once, the camera wasn't working. Okay. And we had the crew there and everything, and the camera broke down. And then it started up again. Then it broke down again. And the energy in there, everybody was like, oh shit, we got all this money invested. What are we gonna do? And I just brought everybody around. I said, let's do a little prayer treatment, you know, the 5-step process we're talking about for the camera. And boom, everybody was in alignment with it was perfect. It was the camera was healing. We healed the camera, whatever. And boom, it worked for the rest of the shoot. And it never acted up again after that. And so to me, that's what it's all about, that we have the power within us to create whatever we desire. We just have to recognize the truth. One power, one presence, one light, perfect, whole, and complete, expressing itself in infinite ways, infinite possibilities. That's what I like about prayer, because it's connecting. It allows me to connect with the divine within. I'm not looking out there. God, please do something for me, to something outside of myself. I know that the power and the presence is within. The genie's within. And so to me, that's what prayer is all about, you know?
So I'm going to use a couple of quotes here from the Holy Bible, and this is the King James version. This is one of the reasons why I use the word believe in a spiritual context as opposed to a psychological, because
Yeah.
in Mark, the Jesus of Nazareth says, "Therefore I say unto you, whatsoever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Now that's in Mark. In Matthew, before that, he says, "And all things what said," in the chapter Matthew before Mark, all and all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing, ye shall receive. That's one of the things that drove me to explore prayer even more, because that it is done unto you as you believe point of view. And where I've gone is using the word believe to a place that is transcends the idea of what you think. Think
Mm.
thoughts is one thing, what you have faith in, what you believe in. And that's one of the things we're just going to quickly go through. We talk about spiritual mind treatment, and there are 5 steps to spiritual mind treatment this is based on the way Dr. Ernest Holmes used to pray, and people reviewed his prayers, and this is the kind of the 30,000 view of how he prayed. He started with recognition. He recognized that God, or whatever you want to call it, is all that there is. And then he went into unification, that I am one with that God, that power. Then we talk about it as a declaration or a realization, claiming the truth now.
Yeah.
That which I quietly have a divine desire, and seeing it as true, because there is only flow in the mind of God. There's only ease in the mind of God, and declaring gracefully that truth, and then stepping back and having gratitude for the prayer, for what is unfolding, for the knowing of the truth, and then releasing this word into what we perceive to be the law. That we there's nothing left to be done humanly but to listen after this prayer is launched. Now, I was just talking with another dear person in this last week, a kind mentor who said, I start every prayer starting off with gratitude, and then I add more gratitude at the end. So these are just suggestions of ways you can pray. I also engage in the idea of praying out loud. Love praying quietly, but praying out loud is something I've particularly found. I've recognized the manifestations unfolding even more when I'm praying out loud. Now, I think that has more to do with that I'm recognizing them, not that they're happening more often, but that I'm actually recognizing them because Dean Lewis Regan prays out loud. Now we're gonna actually, we need to go into the inner circle because we've been talking for a while, and in the inner circle today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Lord's Prayer, actually, which is a hotbed of prayer for a lot of people. I've always loved it, but we're going to talk about how New Thought uses the Lord's Prayer, which it does not actually officially do, but those of us in New Thought who use the Lord's Prayer, how we look at it. And we'll be talking to folks about how they have experienced prayer and how they've experienced manifestations in it. So if you want to become part of the New Thought Tuesdays Inner Circle, what do, Rich?
You go to newthoughttuesdays.com and you fill out the little form, sign up. We send you information every week on New Thought Tuesdays. Also, you can become a member of the Inner Circle, and there's a form on there for that too, which is a paid service that we offer, and we get together afterwards, a bunch of us, and we talk about what we talked about, talking about what we talked about in the last 20 minutes. And one thing I did want to say, Dean, before we end, is that the relationship between the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, there's a direct relationship to what you said affirmative prayer is. Our Father who art in heaven, you're recognizing that oneness of God within. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. That's the step, the realization. It's already done in the mind of the infinite. Give us this day our daily bread. Abundance is already ours. What we're asking and praying for, it's already done. It's already ours. We just have to open the door and receive it. Forgive us our debts, release resistance, and enter into grace. And I wanted to put that out there because Dean came up with that when we were talking about it. And I didn't want to miss out on that. It was really good.
And we're going to dive a little bit more into that if the folks in the Inner Circle want to go. So thank you for joining us. We will see you next Tuesday on New Thought Tuesdays.
Okay. See you then. Take care.